Greetings, spirit beings, greetings, supreme being. We are all the human race. Our common enemy is death. Welcome on Try Something Vegetarian for universal peace. This is the broadcast live. Tommy Robinson supporters gather. Keep Tommy free. So, I already wrote in the chat what I think about it. It's clear that pedophiles, child traffickers, criminals were released on bail while Tommy Robinson was in jail. And he should not be locked up again. He spent too much time in prison already. He got his teeth knocked out. So something should be done about that as well. Safety in prisons, etc. And we've seen these yellow vest protests. And also I've shown pictures of Tommy Robinson supporters being beaten with sticks. Perhaps I'll show that picture again. But for now I want to show what's qua live streams available right now. This is live. Tommy Robinson supporters gather near court as judges announce his sentence. 181 watching on Sputnik, but there are other channels. So we have The Sun, Tommy Robinson supporters on the move after sentencing live, 1.3k watching. Live outside courthouse is Tommy Robinson sentenced in contempt of court retrial. Rudley, 4.8k watching. Breaking, Tommy Robinson sent back to jail 1 hour ago. Sky News, 3. I think all hell would break loose if that would be true. I doubt that. For how long then? Guilty of contempt of court again. Will now serve at least
well, let me tell you straight away that
at least another 9.5 weeks. Benjamin is not live yet about this. Well, I think that's ludicrous, and it shows that the government is criminal, tyrannical, and they're in on population reduction, creating a flow of immigrants and terrorists with their illegal wars in the Middle East, to flood and destroy countries to create a crisis big enough to impose their satanic Luciferian totalitarian global government. And it's done by Jesuits and Masons. So then I can also think about other people that want to see these protests, basically, that want protests. Some people think this is what the Rothschilds want. And I'm also open to debate. People can Skype Prologic999. Not right now, I'm doing this broadcast live. You can write stuff in the chat and then it will appear on the screen. So we have to enjoy this, but do these protesters know that he was sentenced again to 9.5 weeks? So that's over 2 months. It reminds me of what's going on now, playing now, the Epstein thing. Israel becoming, quote, safe haven for pedophiles, unquote, with laws that allow any Jews to legally return, activists claim. Independent Co. UK, Google Katie Johnson's testimony on Trump and Epstein. Is Epstein a Mossad agent used to extort leaders? Many people think that. Also because of the sentence he got. And I'm looking for that Jeffrey Epstein's Madame was Ghislaine Maxwell, daughter of Robert Maxwell, a Mossad agent. What are the odds? New Lolita Island waiting. Trump barred Jeffrey Epstein from Mar-a-Lago over sex assault. Court docs New York Post 21 hours ago, before 5G, after 5G. Okay, it's in the other one. Freshly edited. Oh, that's the wrong one. This one's freshly edited. How are you? So Trump's connections with Epstein are usually left out by controlled opposition. Searching on Epstein. There I have the text, I found it finally. 2008, Epstein was convicted of soliciting an underage girl for prostitution, for which he served 13 months in custody with work release, which meant he was allowed to spend 16 hours a day outside of prison. So then you can calculate for yourself how much time he effectively spent in jail of that 13 months. And perhaps people are wondering, like me, does that mean he spent 6 hours a day in prison of these 13 months? So that's effectively only 1/4 of the 13-month sentence. Could that indicate he's possibly a Mossad agent, etc.? And people are also claiming this about Tommy Robinson. I've shown his Facebook page where he claimed himself to be financed by Mossad. And you can find the Facebook page of Tommy Robinson with catchedpages.com. That's the internet archive, so then you can see Facebook and other pages that are now removed. You can still find them online, but how many people know that? Almost nobody knows that. Well, I think there are millions, so just quite a number anyway. Gathering record judges announced his sentence to 9 watching now. Started streaming 2 hours ago, Sputnik, with chat. And let's check another one. I did a search. There. Okay, the Sun was the one with most viewers. This is 4.8k. And Sky News already streamed Tommy Robinson sent back to jail for 9.5 weeks. At least. So let's turn off the other one. Oh, that one is not playing. Chat is disabled for this live stream. Okay, there's no chat, but it is a different view. It seems like a protester. Was he getting arrested? I was looking at other stuff. So then I always wonder, what did they do, supposedly? And that's it qua live streams. Already filtered, didn't I? No, there are more reps. We also have the Sun, of course, have to check that out. And RT. RT might also have chat. He may not have been lying about the birth rate. What were the sentences of the 29 sentences Tommy reported about? Does anybody know? Is anybody curious? So everybody can become pedo hunter, pretend to be a 12-year-old, and then hand in the evidence to the police. There's no need for confrontation, basically. So everybody can help. Then the question is also why the police aren't doing that themselves if they aren't. It's just police provocateurs and agent provocateurs. It's legal, it's legit to a certain extent.
Rapist gang members released on bail while Tommy was in jail. Regulate influx of immigrants. Regulate migration.
Well, I'm not finding the comment that I wanted to post. So it seems to be peaceful, 2,410 watching now. Well, then I can play this Sky News video, perhaps already. A piece of this to hear about the sentence. What reasons there were. He was supposedly disturbing the peace or something. Though the child traffickers were helping the pedo elite to supply them with kids, etc. So then they have to be freed, of course. That's the idea.
In prison for contempt. Well, let me tell you straight away that Stephen Yaxley Lennon, or Tommy Robinson, he calls himself, has been sentenced to 9 months in prison for contempt of court. The sentence has been reduced slightly because of time spent already in custody. Remember, this is something that he was convicted of last year at Leeds Crown Court. He had been filming defendants in a trial for paedophilia, for a grooming trial. There were a series of trials taking place, so there were reporting restrictions in place so that the details of each individual case weren't being broadcast to the public. But he carried on filming outside. He was immediately arrested, brought before the court, and within 5 hours he had been sentenced to 10 months in prison, plus another 3 months for a previous offence for which he'd been given a suspended sentence. Now, that was overturned on appeal because justice seemed to be so swift on that particular occasion. So there was a retrial demanded by the Attorney General. He had a 2-day hearing here at the Old Bailey last week in front of 2 High Court judges. They convicted him last week, and just to remind you, they have now sentenced him to 9 months in jail, although he'll spend less time than that because of the 3 months that he already served. Now, Tommy Robinson was expecting to go to prison, it should be said, because on 3 days ago he appeared on an American internet broadcast in which he said he feared going to jail. He feared that it was a death sentence, as he put it, because he feared he would be attacked and killed inside prison. So he asked for political asylum, but that was not forthcoming from anyone in the United States authorities. So he arrived at court today at around about 9:25. He was due in court in the dock at 9:30, so he was leaving it rather late, and he took his time coming up the street because there were hundreds of protesters. Now, those protesters are gathered behind me. They had moved away from the court building about an hour ago and moved to the end of the road for a bit of a rally that was taking place. A bus had been placed there. Gerard Batten, the former UKIP leader, was among those who was addressing the crowd. But word is obviously filtering through now what has happened to Stephen Yaxley Lennon, or Tommy Robinson, who has now been sentenced to 9 months in jail, although, as I say, he'll serve a little less than that because of the time he served in prison last year. What has happened to Stephen Yaxley Lennon, or Tommy Robinson, who has now been sentenced to 9 months in jail, although, as I say, he'll serve a little less than that.
Well, it's quite unprofessional that Sky News writes in the description of the video, he's already spent time in prison and will now serve at least another 9.5 weeks.
Although, as I say, he'll serve a little less than that because of the time he served in prison last year.
So British courts are a travesty. They're not to be taken seriously. They're a bunch of pedos that are in on reducing the global population. Who knows who controls them with these remote torture weapons and stuff. And they all seem to be reporting about his real name being Stephen Yaxley Lennon. I already knew that already a couple of months back, basically. The BBC article. BBC writes the ex-English Defence League leader was found guilty last week of interfering with the trial of a sexual grooming gang at Leeds Crown Court in May 2018. He also reported about these pedo statues in building Britain's caliphate. But it seems like people are brain controlled and they are programmed to self-destruct, to self-annihilate. We also see that Putin and Trump are diametrically opposed on sanctioning Iran. So they don't want Rouhani to come up with an agreement to allow inspections so they can enrich to any level and any amount, as long as they can check that they cannot build a nuclear weapon, as long as they're allowed to check what the depleted uranium is used for, basically. And it can't happen. So probably they've planned another false flag attack, a la the false flag attack on these 2 tankers we've seen. I reported about that as well. Unite with a K.
Unite against the pedos.
Jesuits plus Masons de-idiot.
So we can see some illegal remarks in the chat also. So that's hate speech officially, but the chat is not taken seriously. Almost nobody reads that. Nobody's gonna watch this video afterwards to read what everybody wrote in the chat. Perhaps now they get the idea. Some people want to do it. I think it does reflect what some people really think, and others, sometimes there's a sort of plan that is spreading, and then they target certain groups or individuals, etc. They might give themselves donations in chats and stuff to give the illusion they have loads of fans and people watching them. Certain groups that want to dominate and reduce the global population in violation of the Genocide Convention. And apparently these people that advocate that population reduction are not arrested, but people like Tommy Robinson are. Professor Eric R. Pianka advocates reducing the population with airborne Ebola, basically. And there are many other people discussed in videos you can find on my channel. So watch out with racism, homophobia and anti-Semitism. They come down hard on that, not on people reducing the global population, etc. To give the illusion that they're doing their job, they're protecting and serving the population, but in reality they're poisoning you all and they're reducing the global population. The government is not just criminal. The government is terroristic, tyrannical, they're funding terrorists to destabilize countries, to steal the cancer oil, etc. We're infiltrated by these Jesuits and Masons that were expelled from many countries. Also by the Queen of England at that time. God save the team. I have a tough decision to make, like 5 years, to poison myself before the global government ends. And pedo elite are people too, so they deserve our love and respect. And most people are not pedo elite, so it's is it meant like a joke? Is it the neural network is making me say, or is it just a joke, or how should I interpret this? Well, okay, pedophilia is a disease, mental illness, according to the Diagnostic Statistical Manual of the Psychiatrists. So it's not a crime to be a pedo, but many of these people are child murderers, and according to Katie Johnson's testimony, Trump tied Katie to the bed with pantyhose and raped her, with Epstein also. So his connections with Epstein are clear. He called Epstein a terrific guy. So, and now he supposedly banned him from Mar-a-Lago, Mar-a-Lago, this golf resort thing. So people are going for the comfortable lie instead of the uncomfortable truth. But if they know better, then they do it, basically. They protest, they boycott, they take action for a better future, for a better timeline, and especially action to prevent World War III. Protest and unite with me and others doing the right thing. What is preventing them from doing so? Well, there's something, because it's clear from the impossibly low amount of views. But this is all aftermath, you could argue. He's already sentenced. So you could argue this should have been rioting and what else is illegal? But would that help? Are there other things we can do to get Tommy out? And what about his safety, you know? I am concerned about it. Demand that he's put in a safe prison if that exists in Great Britain. Not the one where that happened to him with his teeth. And otherwise do a bloodless coup d'etat or whatever is required to get him out. That was RT. So all three streams seem rather similar to RT. There's a chat as well. Usually they don't write anything illegal in the chat, so I could turn it back on and then I could perhaps, if this is not longer than 1 hour, then I could afterwards edit it. But I think I'm not going to do that. So these people doing it pretend to be Christians, but in reality many of them are Satanists, Luciferians, all Freemasons are Luciferians, and all intelligence agencies are Freemasonic and controlled by the Jesuits, according to Citizens Action Network on Facebook. And they want to keep that secret so they don't know who's in control, and they can maintain child prostitution networks, and child trafficking networks, torture networks, etc. And the population reduction and illegal directed energy weapon torture, which makes a fair trial impossible, as we can see here. Games with the recycle cops are lower in rank than the people doing this. They have the British people and American people, people in Europe, everyone, 7 billion people they want to annihilate. That's a good point, actually. I'm not going to give them any satisfaction. And we see many YouTube videos where they use the F word, the R word, the N word. Yeah, I wouldn't resort to that myself to get more views. The point is that they're usually not censored. Because it's not part of activating or triggering illegal activity or attempts to trigger illegal activity. They can use the N-word in relation to themselves or talk about what somebody said to them. Let's listen to this for a while then. Now I'll make a big screen so we cannot see the chat.
Made me realise I was a victim too. Yeah, a victim at the age of 33. Just about to But I wasn't a victim then, I was a survivor at the age of 33. It took me till I was 33 to even know that I have been groomed. At the same time, when I spoke out to police, I was still friends with perpetrators and rapists. They found out what was going on, and it's all made me so mentally poorly. I told one of them what was going on, the whole story. This man had raped me once when I was 13. His brother had taken my virginity at 12 years old and raped me over 100 times too. Yes, 100 times. Just from one man in Telford. This is without the close on 100 that have done it. That's just one man, 100 times. By the age of 18, nearly 100 Pakistani men raped, abused, beat me and groomed me. All of a sudden, I was stuck in the middle of the police and the Pakistanis. I gave the police a list with over 120 girls' names on it, and all of them are from Telford. 120 victims, survivors.
Brivik and Brenton Tarrant, both Knights Templar associated. We demand an investigation into Knights Templar.
They're still involved. They're that brainwashed by the Telford community that they can't even see now, up until today, that they are victims of grooming and rape and assault and everything else that is going on in Telford. So, some of the girls that I named to the police went to the girls and they told them everybody's names that I had given. They put my life in danger. Half these girls, they don't know they're victims. So this really put my life in danger.
Where are you going?
Threats started coming straight away. The police didn't care.
Oh,
I
okay.
wouldn't
I will
protect
see,
me.
man. Why are you not going to press?
Moving. Even though the police had put my life in danger.
I will see, man.
Three teenagers.
Perhaps I'll even remove this broadcast.
Two other teenagers are not my
It's just to get views. Let's see if there's some live viewers. Did anybody write anything in the chat? Ah, to whom are you talking? Well, not to you, obviously. Oh. To the YouTubers, to the world. To whom it may concern, to quote vegetarian Nikola Tesla, who created this device to end all war. Or perhaps he means to whom is she talking, or I don't know. Perhaps you can clarify what you mean. You're on the air in the chat. WLAN 1100 or whatever. So keep cancer lens off local area networks. Put it in airplane mode because cancer cell phone radiation is very damaging to your health in contrast to what people claim to reduce the global population. Even scientists are involved in it. And they don't even need to give them money with the Tesla technology, with the Malech patent, synthetic telepathy technology. They can simply control the brainwave and tell them what to do. And otherwise they can be tortured, so nothing is what it seems, trust no one because of this synthetic telepathy. People who talk about this stuff are less controlled, and if we talk about this and we know it's our own brainwave and not some brainwave generated by a supercomputer that is present 24 hours a day. When I lie in my waterbed on my left side, then it always starts giving me spasms that are heard on my pillow. I can feel them on my hand and I can hear them on my hoodie also. It doesn't want me to wear a hoodie, or the hoodie cap anyway, for some reason. I made a list of 7 suspects, and what they've done is dental torture in post-energy projectile mode, and that beam was partially deflected by a grounded Van de Graaff generator. So this is just to attract viewers, because I did a broadcast about Tommy Robinson before, and even if he's Mossad, then that's no reason to dislike him, or for him being Jewish, that's no reason to dislike him either. I don't even believe in the concept, so I judge people on their merit. And I think he's for real about protecting these children. And perhaps it's best to refrain from the term kids. It's the term pedos might use. Anyway, that's like chickens basically. And some also use dogs and bitches, etc. Which you could argue must not be a forbidden word, because it can be a female dog is a bitch and a male dog is a dog, etc. Perhaps there are other words one can use. But it's clear I don't engage in racism, homophobia, nor anti-Semitism. I'm anti these things, and it's clear from everything I do. And if people have the idea that I am anti-Semitic, homophobic, or racist, then they've misinterpreted my words or my jokes. It's possible. I'm just trying to put things in perspective, and I think that when people advocate a population reduction to 500 million, that's a lot worse than claiming that your race is superior and that the white or black or mulatto race is a separate race from all the other races. Of course, it's BS, Bravo, Sierra. Where all the human race, our common enemy is death, so we have to invest in controlling these factors that control aging, instead of more illegal wars that bring us nothing but terrorists and depleted uranium babies, etc. And prevent mutually assured destructions, have near nuclear winter. May not occur, but in reality everybody without a Tesla plasma shield could die. So that's more important, so that's why I switched to that now. So I'm trying to bring you all what's most important. I'm for real, not wasting time. And I already talked about Trump and Putin. And that's a video you can also watch on my broadcast, on my channel, try Something.Vegetarian, I mean. I need that quote again. You can read part of this if there are no speakers. Overview of a couple of videos that are worth watching on my channel. Okay, I'm gonna switch off that audio, switch on the speech engine.
Iran says EU has not done enough to help it avoid US sanctions. 37,086 views. Al Jazeera English published on June 29, 2019. Watch the following YouTube videos. 1. Putin, to run in full compliance with its nuclear commitments. Sanctions against Iran groundless. 2. Surpassing uranium enrichment limit. Start of WW3, Rooney agrees with death to America. Stalin Jew. 3. False flag oil tanker drone attack on Frontaltair and Coca-Cola. Courageous attempt to start WW3. 4. Collision course. Putin, to run in full compliance. Sanctions groundless. Trump imposes more sanctions on Try Something.Vegetarian. YouTube. Russia drops test video of Putin's Poseidon doomsday nuclear torpedo. BusinessInsider.com. February 20, 2019. Their goal is annihilation, not saving the nation. Annihilation. I read the Reddit article but I didn't try it. The Antifa Ninja. Is that forbidden? You could argue all protesters must show their face, but some protesters were blinded, so then all non-lethal police weapons must be banned first. Is watching us, from a distance. 5 years ago Israel killed 500 Gaza kids in 50 days. Now Israel is killing protesters every week. Banner of protesters occupying Israeli defense contractor building in Manchester. Mondoist.net via anywar.com. NI, Natural Intelligence, World Peace, Universal Peace. Peace is something that needs to be taken seriously and worked on to protect and serve all taxpayers. Make strategies for peace. Control aging. Death is our common enemy. We're all the human race. Spend more money on controlling every single factor that controls aging. Make sure more research is done on scalar technology, Tesla's wireless energy, which is probably the way all factors that control aging will be controlled in our future, because everything is energy. We are molecules, and as soon as the neural network finds out how to control these atoms, protons and neurons, a matter converter and controller can be created. Gold will lose its value since air molecules can be converted into gold by that time. Iranian official threatens to seize British oil tanker May 7, 2019. Mohsen Rejai says Iran should retaliate, after the UK detained an Iranian oil tanker in Gibraltar. BBC News: Iran should seize.
But who knows, perhaps by that time they will need to transfer gold into air molecules, clean air molecules. Now you can still store air and water and get that radiological water filter and storable food to survive the long planned Third Desert World War.
British oil tanker in retaliation, says former Guard commander. Los Angeles Times. And I for Iran, Prince Tor, me Daniels. I'm sort of a passive activist. Poverty Ramazu. Murderers who refuse to reveal where bodies are buried to be denied parole under new law. Tisha B'Av 2019 will begin in the evening of Saturday, 10 August. Tisha B'Av is an annual fast day in Judaism, on which a number of disasters in Jewish history occurred, primarily the destruction of both Solomon's Temple by the Neo-Babylonian Empire and the Second Temple by the Roman Empire in Jerusalem. Wiki: the CIA Vatican edited encyclopedia. According to AFP, a Hebrew language religious news site explained the rabbi based his statement.
So, on the previous image you saw that Russia has more nukes than the US has. It's coming up also.
On the Jerusalem Talmud, Tractate Bracket, and Midrash Rabbah, a collection of homiletic teachings believed to have been compiled in the 5th century in Tiberias, which states that the Messiah will be born on Tisha B'Av, which is observed as a fast day mourning the destruction of the Jewish temples. Cogwriter.com.
So basically these nuclear torpedoes will generate 90-meter high tidal waves. And that's very high in reality. So where I'm in the Netherlands, even parts of Great Britain will be underwater because of them. And you would need a waterproof bomb shelter or cellar if you'd want to survive the tidal wave, or tsunami wave they call them nowadays.
A powder keg is a barrel of gunpowder. Knowing that the Temple Mount is a powder keg, Zealot Jews, Muslims and Christians yearning for Armageddon, a religious war that will end all wars that will bring the Messiah, are playing with fire. Christian fundamentalists have been funding the Temple Institute, the research center preparing for the Third Temple. And last week the Jewish press sought to normalize religious zealotry by publishing the article Tisha B'Av, Time to Wake Up, and Make the Dream a Reality. JewishCurrents.org, Kuda Olam Haba. Never Again World War. In the Purification Papers, a Google book, we read on page 11, the shocking result caused most of us to forget we had even read the Bible code. World War III seemed irrevocably fated to begin in Jerusalem at the end of July, the holy fast of Tisha B'Av. The only variable in the equation was the exact year for Armageddon. The Bible Code is a best-selling book by Michael Drosnin, first published in 1997. A sequel, The Bible Code 2, was published in 2002 and also reached bestseller status. Drosnin describes an alleged Bible code, in which messages are encoded in the Hebrew Bible. The messages are purported to be hidden in the Torah, and can be deciphered by placing the letters of various Torah passages at equal intervals in a text that has been formatted to fit inside a graph. Drosnin suggests that the code was written by extraterrestrial life, which he claims also brought the DNA of the human genetic code to Earth. Drosnin elaborates on this theory in the Bible Code 2, suggesting that the alien who brought the code left.
So I'm seeing displayed here I keep the audio on in the background deliberately because this is live now. Tommy Robinson, political prisoner, isn't that just to use him as a political pawn? And he's a real prisoner now.
The key to the code in a steel obelisk. Drosnin attempted to find this obelisk, which he believes is buried near the Dead Sea. Drosnin's book is based on the technique described in the paper Equidistant Letter Sequences in the Book of Genesis by Professor Eli Rips of the Hebrew University in Israel with Doran Widstum and Job Rosenberg. The Bible code makes numerous predictions in post-diction, such as the false prediction of the apocalypse in 2006, and a claim of proof that Lee Harvey Oswald was destined to assassinate John F. Kennedy. Wiki/the_Bible_code_.
So I for one am for freeing Tommy Robinson immediately. He already spent too much time in jail. And I hope they start thinking about how to free Tommy Robinson from prison one way or another. Because it's not safe for him in there, and who cares about Tommy Robinson?
The book, Who Controls Jerusalem at the End of Days Shall Rule the World. Quote from Megiddo, The Omega Code 2, a 2001 religious science fiction adventure film. Colonel Howard receives word that Breckinridge is sending U.S. troops to Israel to join Stone's military coalition, which are on the plains of Megiddo planning a strike on Jerusalem. Wiki/Megiddo:_the_Omega_code_2. So the element of Har-Megiddo, Armageddon, is clearly depicted in this movie. On topic: disproportionate punishment is injustice, educational system, judicial system, adjudicated, fruit, tea, juice.
So I don't know if you all caught that, the Bible Code, the famous book by Michael Drosnin, Gematria, basically giving all these letters in the Torah a number. And then you have the codes that can be used. But yeah, basically the idea is that it will happen on Tisha B'Av, Armageddon, the end of days. They just didn't know what year. Is that correct? I can show the text also that was read. I've shown it in the broadcast about this subject. Don't know the title very fast, but let's see, where's the piece? In the Purification Papers, a Google book we read on page 11. Shocking result caused most of us to forget we had even read the Bible Code. World War III seemed irrevocably fated to begin in Jerusalem at the end of July, the holy fast of Tisha B'Av. The only variable in the equation was the exact year for Armageddon. And we're all against Armageddon. But it's possible, it's a prophecy some of us are trying to fulfill. Also based on the Mossad slogan, by means of deception thou shalt do war. But it's clear that thou shalt not kill is at the heart of the Torah, so I think if you'd go ahead with this, then your soul would end up in the bottomless pit sooner or later, if 7 billion people would die because of your long-planned world war. That it's not going to benefit you nor anybody else on this planet, because we're surrounded with weapons of self-destruction, and there are 15 scalar weapon countries. I've talked about this before, but perhaps it's better to talk about universal peace and pursue that and make strategies to create universal peace and maintain peace between countries. So will Netanyahu attack Iran under the guise of preventing them from building a nuclear weapon? Or will there first be more false flag attacks, perhaps even false flags attacks a la the WTC? And possibly false flag attack on the cancer oil tankers that I've reported about. The Kukaku Courageous and the Front Altair or something like that. Names of these cancer oil tankers. And how to prevent these false flag attacks. One thing is, of course, filming it, but we were still reading text, I think.
Juicy fruit, cake. And you are on your way to become an anorexic patient. Some people actually died. Juicing did it supposedly. Juicing bad. Cancer, cell phone radiation good. Racism, homophobia and anti-Semitism bad. Population reduction good. Adjudicate. Make a formal judgment on a disputed matter. Everything is possible. Nothing is certain. Reality equals monopoly. Yo. Immigration and customs enforcement equals ICE. How suggestive. ICE is. Lives. Ice is gone. If they're warm it can't last. Ice cream. Cream with ice in it. Rand Paul's audit the Fed bill may have friend in Trump. YouTube Trump attacks Fed independence. YouTube Donald Trump supports Rand Paul's audit the Fed bill. YouTube Trump's haters claim his Fed criticism is dangerous. They're wrong. Mises.org. There is one thing that can be said: audit the Fed. A little mosquito bird. GMO. Cloud seeding. Geoengineering. The secret death toll of America's drones. President Trump is making it harder to know how many civilians the government kills by remote control. New York Times, March 30, 2019. This It Band movement. This teeny destiny, tragedy of reality. Hitler had Jewish and African roots. DNA tests show. Telegraph. Telegraph.co.uk. Hitler Jewish? DNA tests show dictator may have had Jewish and Adolf Hitler is likely to have had Jewish and African roots. DNA tests have shown. HuffPost.com, August 24, 2010. Mar-a-Lago. Jeffrey Epstein had a torture dental chair in his Manhattan mansion's bathroom. Pizzagate. Submitted 1.7 days ago by Game. Antlafago 5 points. I would like to explain why dentist chairs are used by pedophiles as a way to disguise and disable victims' accounts. If a kid explains in a court that he was abused in a place that had a dentist chair, it would be very easy for the defense to state the child is just fantasizing when he went to the dentist. Same case is for werewolves' masks. McMartin's case. Police raided the mansion before. They did nothing in 2016. They found children's toys, the torture chair, and pictures of teenagers in their bikinis. One picture was of a young child bent over, which authorities blurred out. In the recent raid in 2019, they found hundreds of pictures of nude children and victims' names, which asks the question, why didn't the police find this in 2016? Vote.co.
So that begs the question, what's going to happen now? Quiet Tommy Robinson, more protests, or if they planned anything else? Are there legal steps one can take to get Tommy Robinson out of prison? To get him out of jail? If I have, well, it doesn't really matter how many viewers I have because people can watch this broadcast later. See if this is the same angle. Sputnik's about the same, I think. Though there may be a time difference. Okay, well, I think it's this is it for Tommy Robinson. I can read some more better chat remarks. So in these chats live, I also write comments regularly. Let's try Something.Vegetarian himself. Remember, boycott all companies that must be boycotted for a better timeline, for a better future. Yeah, then I can turn this one off. Now we read Tommy Robinson given 9-month jail sentence for contempt of court. Well, many people think it's ridiculous, it's insane, a travesty. And a disproportionate sentence. And an illegal sentence, like I said before. Annexation is generally held to be an illegal act according to Wikipedia, the CIA Vatican edited encyclopedia. I'm thinking what would be more important. So I can advise you all to watch these videos if you want to know more about possible world war over Iran, the Iran situation.
Watch the following YouTube videos. 1. Putin, to run in full compliance with its nuclear commitments, sanctions against Iran groundless. 2. Surpassing uranium enrichment limit, start of WW3, Rooney agrees with death to America Stalin Jew. 3. False flag oil tanker drone attack on front Altair and Coca-Cola, courageous attempt to start WW3, 4. Collision course. Putin, to run in full compliance, sanctions groundless. Trump imposes more sanctions on Try Something.Vegetarian YouTube. Russia drops test video of Putin's Poseidon doomsday nuclear torpedo. BusinessInsider.com, February 20, 2019.
I also did a recent video about Donald Trump being, when you play it backwards, it sounds like Ashmodai. That's the video before this one, I think. So I am gonna check if I have a lot of viewers right now. But I doubt it. Zero watching. Oh wow, there's another message in the chat. If this shared anywhere, go home guys, the show is over. Oh, those are exclamation marks. Go home guys, the show is over. Someone is going to have a very sore bum tonight. I'm the winner, wrote. You have this shared anywhere? Well, basically on YouTube, on my channel. And people can share it on their timeline by hitting that share button, basically. And I don't know if they mean Tommy Robinson or if they mean me, but in reality I'm a hetero and single ladies are welcome for free shields for hand massage, to watch movies or create a movie or make YouTube videos. You can also Skype ProLogic999 if you want a debate, or if you want to criticize me or compliment me or for any other reason talk about anything. You can always Skype ProLogic999. That's my Skype and that's right here, so that should work. Yeah, it's working. Okay. Perhaps from sitting on those chairs, perhaps they mean Merkel or whatever. I don't know. So she was, during the anthem, she was sitting on a chair. We heard it on the radio because of these drowsiness attacks or whatever that she has. And I was also wondering if somebody Well, perhaps I better not say it on YouTube. But if it's done to her by somebody with illegal means, not directed energy weapons, but these people that write this stuff in the chat, the document you were showing on Google Docs, it may be in the previous broadcast also. This document about, I presume, about Bible codes. It's shown in the video what the source is, and that's in this video, but I'd have to check. I'm checking now. Yeah, that source is the Purification Papers, a Google book, page 11, and in my previous video I show the URL also, so I didn't jot that down because it's a Google URL probably. I can Google it right now, if it's still online. But it sounds a bit like ethnic cleansing to me, Purification Papers. They also add Bible code. There is the link, I guess. And then it's on page 11. That's this one, I recognize it from the broadcast. So this is the part that I read, that speech engine read basically. And basically people cannot download this, so they can buy the book, I think. Front cover about this book. This original 2012 review by an Amazon Top 1000 reviewer was redacted from the Amazon website. Author Daniel Briggs. So, Purification Papers, Bible code, and you can find that thing. I'm not going to read it all. The idea is to prevent it, and that people may have, or if there would be an entity, that these warnings would be to prevent this from unfolding on that date, in that place, and not to create it or bring it about. Because that would make sense if it were a good entity worthy of worship, and not scorn and banning or censorship. But there is no entity. Religion is an abomination, so I'm anti all religion, and Tommy Robinson's anti or de-Islamization is part of this. So I'm for giving all non-criminal Muslims a different identity, all Muslims that want to become apostates, that want to leave Islam, because some people are killed for leaving Islam. That's why Geert Wilders and I myself consider it a violent ideology. But in the Bible we also find a part about people that tell you to worship other deities, that they must be killed. So that leaves no room for freedom of religion. And then there's the former Mossad slogan, by means of deception thou shalt do war. And in the Talmud, Tov Shebegoyim Harog, which is supposedly only during wartime like jihad. But it's balanced by Pikuach Nefesh. You may break any commandment to save a human life except 3 cardinal sins. Murder, idolatry, and sexual crimes may not be committed to save a human life, according to the rabbis. Though I've already made clear I disagree with it, so you may break any commandment to save a human life. Except murder, you may not murder, but you may execute somebody, or somebody that's attempting to murder you, or shoot 72 disco dancers, etc. So what if somebody would have carried during the disco shooting? Then perhaps all these people would have been saved. So that's also an idea for people in mosques and synagogues and prayer houses to have somebody at the door that has a license to carry, so that they can take care of anybody that starts illegal activity in their church, to put them in handcuffs and hand them over to the police, etc. So a pair of handcuffs is also a good idea then. Because I had somebody that kicked down my door once, so next time I'm prepared. Welcome to the dome. Anyway, there's another one. World War III is coming soon. US sub sunk off coast of Alaska. Is this fake news? Truth alert. And then the problem is, if I now release my mouse button, then it will probably load this video. Well, otherwise it usually does that. That's the problem. Then I cannot read the text with the speech engine. I can demonstrate it also probably if I select the whole text, like so. Hoppa, and then release that mouse button. Not doing it either. Let's see if I select only the text and not the blue screen to the left. Now it's not doing it, so they must be doing it with Nikola Tesla's wireless energy. I'm having that problem constantly. If I select this text, and it always goes to that video when I don't want it, and when I want it, then it doesn't do that. So it's no coincidence anymore. Theoretically, it's in theory. US sub sunk off coast of Alaska, 1942. Click on news. 2nd of July 2019, Russian submarine fire leaves 14 dead after quote blast unquote on quote spy unquote vessel. So perhaps he's reporting about that then. 2nd of July, today is the 11th of July. So that's pretty recent. So I might watch that, and I might have 0 views now, I don't know, live viewers. But basically it's just to attract people to my channel, and there is no valid argument to put Tommy Robinson in prison in reality. It's an illegal sentence. I can check if I can get the article. Oh, I have a Skype message. Okay. Let's see what reasons I had why it's an illegal sentence. Then I can faster search with the file manager. I don't have too much time for this. It's illegal to block a working cure from the public. Legalize it. Writings for Universal Peace 2018 6. Okay, I can read this.
Banning Tommy Robinson from the internet is illegal. Skype uses the IP address, Internet Personal Address, so he's not allowed to use that until June 2019 either. Tommy didn't do the child trafficking, terrorist attacks, murders, torture and pedophilic acts. People that want to get him locked up again should get their heads checked. The people have to pay for these Tommy Robinson trials. It would not